The $1,000,000 mistake. Why wanting keeps you poor. There is a reason you are still struggling. There is a reason why, despite all your prayers, despite all your vision boards, and despite all your desperate hoping, the bank account remains empty. It is not because you are unworthy. It is not because it is not your time. And it is certainly not because there is a shortage of money in this world. The reason is much simpler, and yet it is the hardest thing for the human mind to grasp. The reason you do not have the $1,000,000 is simply because you want the $1,000,000. Listen closely. This is the secret that no one has told you. This is the paradox that keeps the masses in poverty. The very act of wanting something is a declaration of lack. When you say, "I want to be wealthy," you are simultaneously shouting to the universe, "I am poor." You cannot want what you already have. If you held a diamond in your hand, would you say, "I want a diamond"? No, you would say, "I have a diamond." So, by living in a state of constant desire, you are living in a state of constant separation. You are pushing the very thing you seek away from you. You are keeping it at arm's length. You are telling your subconscious mind, "I am in need." And the subconscious mind, which is a faithful servant, looks at you and says, "The master says he is in need. Therefore, I must create more circumstances that keep him in need." You have been trapping yourself in a cycle of lack. You have been digging a hole with your desire. But today, we are going to fill that hole. Today, we are going to teach you the $1,000,000 shift. You must move from the state of wanting to the state of having. You must stop thinking of the $1,000,000 and start thinking from the $1,000,000. This is the law of assumption. It does not matter what the facts of your life say. It does not matter what your bank balance says today. Those are just dead facts. They are the shadows of your past thoughts. The only reality is consciousness. And if you want to change your world, you must change your consciousness. You must stop acting like a beggar at the gates of life. A beggar asks. A beggar hopes. A beggar wants. A king does not ask. A king assumes. A king knows that the kingdom is already his. You must put on the mindset of the king. How do you do this? How do you stop wanting money when the bills are piling up? It requires a radical act of faith. It requires you to deny the evidence of your senses. Your senses tell you that you are broke. Your senses tell you that the debt is high. But Neville Goddard taught us that the senses are liars. They only reflect what you used to be. They do not reflect what you are. To get the $1,000,000, you must appropriate it. You must claim it. You must assume the feeling that it is already yours. Imagine for a moment. Close your eyes. If you truly had that wealth right now, if it was sitting in your account, cleared and available, how would you feel? Would you feel desperate? No. Would you feel anxious? No. Would you be begging God for it? No. You would feel a profound sense of relief. You would feel a quiet satisfaction. You would feel secure. You would feel natural. It wouldn't be a miracle anymore. It would just be a fact. It would be your normal. This is the secret. You must capture that feeling of normalcy. You must wear the feeling of wealth as if it were an old, comfortable coat. You must walk down the street with the inner conviction that you possess this fortune. When you look at a price tag, you must stop reacting with fear. You must stop the inner conversation that says, "I cannot afford that." Instead, you must smile a secret smile. You must say to yourself, "I can buy that. I can buy this whole store if I chose to. I have the supply." Even if you do not buy it physically, you must buy it mentally. You must appropriate the feeling of ownership. This is how you kill the wanting. You kill the wanting by mentally possessing. Most people treat their imagination like a daydream. They think of money, and then they snap back to reality and say, "Oh well, it was just a dream." They step out of the state. They return to the state of wanting. And so, the money stays in the dream. You must remain in the state. You must occupy the state. You must live in the end. Living in the end means you are no longer looking towards the destination. You are standing at the destination, looking back. If you are sick, you do not want to be well. You assume you are well. If you are lonely, you do not want to be loved. You assume you are loved. If you are poor, you do not want to be rich. You assume you are rich. The Bible says, "To him that hath, more shall be given. But to him that hath not, even that which he hath shall be taken away." This sounds cruel, but it is spiritual law. It means that if you have the consciousness of wealth, you will get the physical wealth. But if you have the consciousness of lack, which is wanting, then even the little money you have will be taken from you. You are the operant power. You are the creator. Do not beg your own creation for help. Do not look at the mirror of the world and beg the reflection to smile. You must smile first. You must be wealthy first. Tonight, do not go to sleep wanting. That is a sin against your own nature. Tonight, go to sleep having. Lie in your bed and say to yourself, "It is done. It is mine. I am that man. I am that woman. I am the one who has the financial freedom." Feel the texture of the sheets and tell yourself, "These are the sheets of a millionaire." Feel the pillow and tell yourself, "This is the pillow where a wealthy mind rests." Let the feeling of possession wash over you. Let it saturate your mind. Let it sink into your bones. When the urge to want comes up tomorrow, catch it. Catch yourself. Say, "No, why would I want it? I already have it." This is the mental discipline. This is the brazen impudence. You must be bold enough to claim it before you see it. You must be crazy enough to believe in your imagination more than you believe in the world. The world belongs to the bold. The world belongs to those who know who they are. Stop being the person who wants. Start being the person who has. The gap between I want and I have is the valley of death. Do not pitch your tent in that valley. Cross the bridge. Cross it now. By a simple movement of your mind. By a simple decision. I am wealthy. Not I will be. Not I hope to be. I am. The name of God is I am. It is not I will be. When you say I will be, you are delaying God. You are pushing God into the future. Bring God into the now. Bring the money into the now. Feel the weight of the wallet in your pocket. Feel the solidity of the key to the new house. Make it real in the only place that matters, your imagination. And as you walk in this assumption, as you remain faithful to this new self-concept, the wanting dies. And when the wanting dies, the manifestation is born. This is the secret. It is subtle, but it is powerful. It is the key to the treasury. Stop wanting, start having, and watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that you cannot contain. The feeling of relief, the true signal of success. Stop getting excited about money. I know this sounds contradictory to everything you have been told. The gurus tell you to jump up and down. They tell you to pump your fists. They tell you to scream with joy as if you have just won the lottery. But I tell you, this is a trap. Excitement is not the frequency of possession. Excitement is the frequency of surprise. And if you are surprised by wealth, it means you do not believe it is natural to you. The $1,000,000 secret that the world misses is found in a single quiet emotion: relief. When you are trying to manifest a fortune, you often visualize the moment of receiving it with high, frantic energy. You imagine looking at the bank balance and fainting. You imagine running down the street shouting. But ask yourself this: if you had that money in your account for 10 years, would you still be shouting today? No, you would be calm. You would be secure. You would simply be paying your bills with a sense of ease. Excitement implies that the event is a miracle, an anomaly, something that happens once in a blue moon. And because your subconscious mind creates what you believe is normal, if you treat wealth as a rare, exciting miracle, it will remain rare. It will remain distant. You must understand the difference between the emotion of getting and the emotion of having. Excitement is the emotion of getting. Relief is the emotion of having. Think about a time when you were deeply worried about a problem. Perhaps it was a health scare. Perhaps it was a debt that was due. You carried that heavy weight on your chest for weeks. You could not sleep. Your stomach was in knots. And then, suddenly, the phone rang. You got the news. The test results were negative. The debt was paid. The problem was solved. What did you do in that instant? Did you run a marathon? No. You exhaled. You let out a long, deep sigh. Your shoulders dropped 3 inches. The tension drained out of your neck. You slumped into your chair and you said, "Oh, thank God, it is over." That specific feeling right there, that is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That is the feeling that impregnates the subconscious mind. Why is relief so powerful? Because relief signifies the end of the battle. Relief signals to your deeper self that the struggle is finished. When you feel relief, you are telling the universe, the pressure is gone because the solution is here. You cannot fake relief. Excitement can be faked. You can force yourself to smile and dance. But relief comes from a deep knowing. It comes from a conviction that the danger has passed. When you apply this to money, you must capture the feeling that the war against poverty is over. Imagine for a moment that you have been fighting to pay the rent, fighting to put food on the table, fighting to keep the lights on. It is a war. Now imagine a sum of money so large has entered your life that you never have to fight again. The war is over. Lay down your sword, take off your armor, sit down, breathe. Do you feel that? That is not adrenaline, that is peace, that is the Sabbath. Neville Goddard taught us that after the creative act, there must be a Sabbath, a time of rest. Relief is the entry point into that rest. If you are still excited, you are still active. You are still trying to feel something. But when you are relieved, you are passive. You are accepting. You are allowing. The subconscious mind is not impressed by your manic energy. It is impressed by your naturalness. Wealth must become natural to you. It must feel like wearing your own skin. When you put on your shoes in the morning, do you scream with excitement? No, it is natural. It is yours. When you spend $1 million, it should feel just as natural. There is a chemical shift that happens in the body when you feel relief. The cortisol leaves. The stress hormones vanish. You enter a state of receptivity. In this state, the door to the subconscious swings wide open. This is when you plant the seed. If you go to bed tonight, trying to whip yourself up into a frenzy of joy, you will stay awake. You will be anxious. And anxiety is just excitement turned sour. They are the same vibration of disturbance. But if you go to bed tonight and induce a state of relief, you will drift into the deep, healing waters of the subconscious. How do you invoke this feeling if the money isn't there yet? You use the sigh. I want you to try this. Sit in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes. Think of your biggest financial burden. Feel the weight of it for just a second. Now imagine it has been completely paid off. Imagine the heavy sack has been cut from your back. Take a deep breath in and let it out with a sound. Ha! Do it again. Inhale the burden. Exhale the solution. Let the air leave your lungs and take the worry with it. Feel your body sink into the chair. That physical sensation of sinking is the spiritual sensation of, it is done. Say to yourself, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not with high energy, but with a whisper that comes from the soul. Thank you, it is done. This sigh of relief is the most powerful prayer you can utter. It is the prayer of faith. It is the prayer of acceptance. It bridges the gap between the invisible and the visible instantly. When you successfully capture this feeling, you stop looking for the money. Have you noticed that? When you are truly relieved that a problem is solved, you stop looking for the solution. You know it exists. If you are checking your bank account every 5 minutes, you are not relieved. You are anxious. You are wanting. But if you feel the relief of the wish fulfilled, you can go about your day with a quiet confidence. You walk differently. You speak differently. You have the air of someone who has a secret security. This relief is the magnetic force. It draws the means to you. It compels the world to mirror your internal state. If you are internally relaxed and secure, the world must rearrange itself to provide the security that matches your feeling. So, stop trying to get high on the idea of money. Stop treating wealth like a roller coaster. Treat it like a comfortable bed. Treat it like a warm bath. Treat it like a done deal. The $1 million secret is not in the shouting. It is in the silence that comes after the shout. It is in the quiet knowing. It is in the ah. Practice this today. Do not visualize to get excited. Visualize to get relief. Visualize until the knot in your stomach unties. Visualize until the tension in your jaw releases. Visualize until you can say honestly and deeply, it is finished. This is the state of the master. The master is never frantic. The master is never surprised. The master is always at peace, because the master knows that his imagination is the only reality. And in his imagination, the work is already done. The check is already signed. The relief is already real. Feel the weight of the wallet in your pocket. Feel the solidity of the key to the new house. Make it real in the only place that matters, your imagination. And as you walk in this assumption, as you remain faithful to this new self-concept, the wanting dies. And when the wanting dies, the manifestation is born. This is the secret. It is subtle, but it is powerful. It is the key to the treasury. Stop wanting, start having, and watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that you cannot contain. The inner conversations that sign the checks. Your mind is minting money. Your mind is a mint. It is minting money every single second of the day. You may not see the machinery, you may not hear the clinking of the coins, but the production line never stops. With every thought you think, and more importantly, with every word you whisper to yourself in the silence of your mind, you are stamping a coin. The question is not whether you are creating. The question is, are you minting gold or are you minting dust? Most of you are living in a house of poverty because you have built it with your own inner speech. You walk through the world and you carry on a ceaseless conversation with yourself. And what is the nature of this conversation? You look at a suit in a window and you say, I cannot afford it. You open a bill and you say, how will I ever pay this? You look at the news and you say, the economy is crashing. I am doomed. You think these are harmless observations. You think you are just stating the facts. But I tell you, you are not stating facts. You are creating them. You are signing the checks of your own lack. You are commanding the subconscious mind to keep you small, to keep you struggling, to keep you in the very state you claim to hate. Neville Goddard taught us that our inner conversations are the breeding ground of our future. The world is nothing more than your inner speech frozen into rock, frozen into circumstances, frozen into your bank balance. If you want to change the frozen reflection, you must change the conversation that is creating it. You must realize that money has ears. It hears you. Not the paper in your pocket, but the spirit of wealth, the consciousness of abundance. It responds to the voice that calls it. If you call it with a voice of worry, it runs away. If you call it with the voice of authority and possession, it comes running. So, how do we sign the checks with our minds? How do we use this $1 million secret? You must begin to script the dialogue of the wealthy. You must deliberately construct conversations in your imagination that imply you are already the person you want to be. You must hear the world confirming your wealth. I want you to try this. Close your eyes to the outer world. The outer world is the world of Caesar, and it is just an echo. Ignore the echo. Go to the source. Imagine you are standing at the counter of your bank. You are not there to beg for a loan. You are not there to plead for an extension. You are there to make a deposit. Or perhaps you are there to check your balance. Construct a conversation with the bank teller. Make it vivid. Make it real. Hear the teller's voice. It is respectful. It is polite. Hear them say to you, Sir, your balance is substantial. It has grown significantly this month. Hear yourself reply, not with surprise, but with the calm assurance of a millionaire. Yes, thank you. Please transfer the surplus to my investment account. Do you feel the power of that conversation? In that brief exchange, you have implied that you have a surplus. You have implied that you have investments. You have implied that you are a man of means. And because you have implied it in your inner speech, the subconscious mind accepts it as the blueprint for your life. Or, imagine a conversation with your accountant. Hear them on the phone. We need to discuss tax planning. Your income has moved into a new bracket. We have a lot of revenue to manage this year. Hear a conversation with your spouse or a dear friend. Hear them say, Isn't it wonderful that we can afford this? Isn't it wonderful that we don't have to look at the price tag anymore? And hear your own voice replying, Yes, it is a blessing. We are truly abundant. These are the conversations that sign the checks. You see, most people wait for the money to appear before they change their talk. They say, when I am rich, then I will talk like a rich man. But the law says, you must talk like a rich man before you can be rich. You must speak the language of the country you wish to inhabit. If you want to inhabit the land of wealth, you must speak the language of wealth. The language of wealth is not boastful. It is not loud. It is confident. It is relaxed. It creates a vacuum that the universe must fill. You must stop the argument in your head. Many of you are fighting imaginary battles with bill collectors in your shower. You are arguing with your boss about a raise while you drive to work. You are rehearsing conflict. You are rehearsing lack. Stop it. Stop it immediately. You are poisoning your own well. Every time you catch yourself saying, it is too expensive, stop. Revise it instantly. Say instead, it is beautiful, and I have the means to purchase it if I choose. Even if you do not buy it, claim the power to buy it. Every time you catch yourself worrying about the future, stop. Replace that inner voice with the voice of congratulations. Hear your friends congratulating you on your good fortune. I am so proud of you. You have done it. This is a mental diet. It requires discipline. You cannot talk like a pauper for 23 hours a day, talk like a prince for 1 hour, and expect to live in the palace. You must monitor your inner speech with the vigilance of a guard at the gate. Do not let the thief of poverty enter your mind. Your inner speech is the vibratory link between you and your desire. If your speech matches your desire, the two must merge. If your speech opposes your desire, they must remain apart. Remember, the world is an echo. An echo cannot speak on its own. It can only repeat what you have shouted. If you shout, lack, the world echoes, lack. If you shout, plenty, the world echoes, plenty. But you do not need to shout with your physical voice. The inner whisper is 1,000 times more powerful than the outer scream. Tonight, before you go to sleep, hold a conference in your mind. Invite the people who matter to you. Invite your family. Invite your business partners. And rewrite the script. Have them tell you exactly what you want to hear. Have them confirm your success. Have them witness your prosperity. Listen to them until their voices sound as real as the voice of the news anchor. Listen until you feel the thrill of reality, and then fall asleep in that conversation. If you do this, if you persist in this new inner dialogue, you will find that the outer world begins to change. You will find checks arriving in the mail. You will find opportunities opening up. You will find that the people around you actually start saying the things you imagined them saying. They are compelled to. They are just actors in your play. You have written the script, and they must read the lines. So, start minting gold. Start signing the checks with your mind. Speak to yourself only of the good, the beautiful, and the prosperous. And let your inner conversation be the rock upon which you build your kingdom of wealth. This is the state of the master. The master is never frantic. The master is never surprised. The master is always at peace, because the master knows that his imagination is the only reality. And in his imagination, the work is already done. The check is already signed. The relief is already real. Feel the weight of the wallet in your pocket. Feel the solidity of the key to the new house. Make it real in the only place that matters, your imagination. And as you walk in this assumption, as you remain faithful to this new self-concept, the wanting dies. And when the wanting dies, the manifestation is born. This is the secret. It is subtle, but it is powerful. It is the key to the treasury. Stop wanting, start having, and watch the windows of heaven open and pour out a blessing that you cannot contain. Brazen impudence. Deny the evidence of your senses. This may sound like madness to the world. In fact, to the reasoning mind, it is absolute insanity. But to the spiritual mind, it is the only sanity there is. The viral secret, the key that unlocks the door when the key has been lost, is what I call brazen impudence. You must learn to deny the evidence of your senses. We live in a world that worships facts. We worship the data. We worship the spreadsheet. You look at your bank application on your phone and it shows you a 0, or perhaps it shows you a negative number in red ink. Your senses see it. Your reason accepts it. Your emotions react to it. And you say, this is my reality. This is the truth. But I tell you, that number is a lie. The congratulatory handshake, the 5-second scene that changes everything. We come now to the final secret, the tool that cuts through all the confusion, the technique that is so simple, the reasoning mind will want to reject it, but I tell you, it is the most powerful weapon in your spiritual arsenal. It is the congratulatory handshake. Why do so many fail at manifestation? Why do so many of you lie on your beds night after night visualizing, and yet you wake up empty-handed? It is because you are trying to do too much. You are trying to direct a feature-length movie in your mind. You are trying to visualize the money coming in, then you visualize the bank, then you visualize the car, then the house. You are exhausted before you have even begun. Your mind wanders. You get bored. And when the attention wanders, the power is lost. You do not need a movie. You need a snapshot. You need a single, short, explosive moment that implies everything you desire has already come to pass. The $1 million secret is this. Do not visualize the money itself. Do not visualize the stack of cash or the check. Why? Because when you look at money in your mind, you often feel the lack of it. You wonder where it comes from. You wonder if it is real. Instead, go to the end. What is the inevitable consequence of you having $1 million? What is the one thing that must happen if you are successful? Someone will congratulate you. It is that simple. If you have achieved a great victory, a friend will shake your hand, they will look you in the eye, and they will say, "Congratulations." This is the technique. I want you to condense your entire desire, all the financial freedom, all the debts paid, all the luxury you crave, condense it all down into a single 5-second scene. Choose a friend, a specific person, someone you know well, someone whose voice you can hear clearly in your imagination, someone who would be genuinely happy for your success. Do not choose a stranger, choose a witness. Now construct the scene. You are standing in front of them. It does not matter where. It could be on the street, it could be in a restaurant, it could be in your new living room. The location is secondary, the action is primary. In your imagination, reach out your hand, make it solid. Do not just see a hand, feel the hand. This is the secret of sensory vividness. Feel the texture of their skin. Is their grip firm? Is their hand warm? Is it dry? Give it the tones of reality. Now look into their eyes. See the expression on their face. It is an expression of joy. It is an expression of pride. And hear them say the words, "Congratulations on your success." Or perhaps, "I heard the good news. It is wonderful." Or simply, "Congratulations." Hear the intonation, hear the specific pitch of their voice, and then reply to them. Say, "Thank you, it is amazing, isn't it?" And then stop. Do not let the scene go on. Do not start a long conversation. Cut the scene, and then start it again. Loop it, shake the hand. "Congratulations, thank you." Shake the hand. "Congratulations, thank you." Why is this so effective? Because of the law of implication. The word congratulations implies that the event is finished. You are not congratulated for something you hope to do. You are not congratulated for something you might do. You are only congratulated for something you have done. By accepting the congratulations, you are tricking the subconscious mind. You are bypassing the critical filter. The subconscious asks, "Why are we being congratulated?" And the only answer it can provide is, "Because we have succeeded." It assumes the success to explain the handshake. This bypasses the how. You do not need to know how the $1 million came. Did it come from a lottery? Did it come from a business deal? Did it come from an inheritance? It does not matter. The handshake covers it all. If you are being congratulated on your good fortune, the fortune must exist. The means are irrelevant. The end is secured. You must repeat this loop until it feels natural. At first it might feel like you are pretending, but as you persist, as you do it 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, a strange thing will happen. The face of your friend will become incredibly vivid. The voice will sound external, as if they are really in the room, and you will feel a sudden thrill of reality. You will feel the actual joy of the moment. You will catch the mood. And once you catch the mood, the pregnancy has begun. The seed is planted. Do this at night just before you drop off to sleep, in that drowsy state where you are in control of your thoughts but your body is immobilized. Bring your friend before you. Feel the grip. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the handshake. It is an anchor. It keeps you focused. It prevents you from worrying about the bills. You cannot worry about bills while you are accepting congratulations for your wealth. The two states cannot coexist. There was a man who wanted to sell his business for a specific sum. He tried for months to find a buyer, but no one came. He was stressed. He was worried. I told him to stop looking for buyers. I told him to go to the end. I told him to imagine me, Neville, standing before him. I told him to imagine shaking my hand and saying, "The business is sold." He did this. Night after night, he felt my hand. He heard his own voice saying, "It is sold." And he heard me reply, "It is done." Within 2 weeks, a buyer appeared out of nowhere from a completely different city and offered him exactly the price he wanted. The check was signed, and do you know what the man did? He came to me, shook my hand, and said, "Neville, the business is sold." He physically enacted the very scene he had imagined. The imaginal act became the physical fact. This is what awaits you, but you must be disciplined. You must be faithful to the scene. Do not change the scene every night. Do not change the friend every night. Repetition creates the groove. Repetition creates the habit of belief. So, tonight, do not struggle with complex visualizations. Do not try to see the numbers on the bank screen if they stress you out. Go to the handshake. It is the seal of approval. It is the amen to your prayer. It implies that you are the person you want to be, and because you are that person in your imagination, you must become that person in your flesh. Brazen impudence. Deny the evidence of your senses. This may sound like madness to the world. In fact, to the reasoning mind, it is absolute insanity. But to the spiritual mind, it is the only sanity there is. The viral secret, the key that unlocks the door when the key has been lost, is what I call brazen impudence. You must learn to deny the evidence of your senses. We live in a world that worships facts. We worship the data. We worship the spreadsheet. You look at your bank application on your phone and it shows you a zero, or perhaps it shows you a negative number in red ink. Your senses see it. Your reason accepts it. Your emotions react to it. And you say, this is my reality. This is the truth. But I tell you, that number is a lie. It is a lie because it is a record of the past. It is a footprint of where you were, not where you are. If you accept that zero as the final truth, you are bowing down to a dead image. You are worshipping a false god. The commandment says, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. That bank balance is a graven image, and when you tremble before it, you are serving it. To manifest the $1,000,000 reality, you must develop a spiritual stubbornness. You must become brazenly impudent. Impudence means you do not care what the facts say. You do not care what the world says. You do not care what the logic says. You only care about what your imagination says. If the world says you are broke, you must have the audacity, the sheer nerve to say, no, I am wealthy. You do not say it hoping it will become true. You say it because you know that your imagination is the only God. And if God says you are wealthy, who is this bank account to tell you otherwise? This is the hardest part for the rational man. The rational man wants proof before he believes. He wants to see the money first. But the spiritual law is the opposite. You must believe first, and then you will see. You must walk by faith, not by sight. Imagine you are an actor on a stage. You are playing the role of a king. The script says you are a king. The director says you are a king. Now suppose a stagehand walks onto the set and says, hey, you know, you're actually just a poor actor, right? Would you stop the play? Would you break character? No, you would ignore him. You would remain in the character of the king. You would treat him with the authority of a king. You would not let his comment destroy your performance. Your life is the play. Your imagination is the script. The facts of your life, the bills, the empty wallet, the rejection letters, these are just the stagehands trying to distract you. Brazen impudence is the ability to stay in character no matter what the stagehands say. You must be deep. You must be unyielding. When you close your eyes and you assume the feeling of wealth, that is the reality. When you open your eyes and see the lack, that is the illusion. Most people get this backwards. They think the inner world is the illusion and the outer world is the reality. You must flip this. The inner world is the rock. The outer world is the shifting sand. There is a story in the Bible of the man who went to his friend at midnight to ask for 3 loaves of bread. The friend was in bed and did not want to get up. He said, the door is shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give to thee. But the man at the door did not leave. He kept knocking, he kept asking. And the scripture says, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, his brazen impudence, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. Do you understand? The world is the friend in bed. The world is asleep. It does not want to give you what you want. It tells you the door is shut. The economy is bad. You have no degree. You have no capital. The world will give you 1,000 reasons why you cannot have it. But if you are brazen, if you are impudent, if you refuse to take no for an answer, if you keep knocking on the door of your own consciousness, if you persist in the assumption that you already have it, then the world must rise. It has no choice. It must get up, unlock the door, and give you everything you need. Not because it likes you, but because you would not waver. You must ignore the 3D reality. This does not mean you are irresponsible. It does not mean you stop paying your bills, or you spend money you do not have. No. It means you stop emotionally reacting to the lack. When you look at the zero, do not feel the drop in your stomach. Look right through the zero. See the millions behind it. Overlay the image of your desire upon the image of your lack. Superimpose the wealth upon the poverty. Tell yourself, I deny this appearance. This is temporary. This is fading. My father has cattle on 1,000 hills, and I am the heir. There is a power in this kind of denial. It is not escapism. It is transformation. When you withdraw your attention from the lack, you starve the lack. You take the oxygen away from the fire of poverty. And when you place your brazen attention on your wealth, you feed the wealth. You breathe life into it. You must carry this attitude with you all day long. When you walk into a room, walk as if you own it, not with arrogance towards others, but with an inner confidence in your own standing. When you drive your car, even if it is old, drive it with the dignity of a man driving a Rolls-Royce. Feel the luxury in your hands. The world is a dog. It can smell fear. If you are afraid of poverty, the world will bite you. But if you are fearless, if you walk past the barking dog of poverty with your head held high, ignoring its noise, knowing it cannot touch you, it will whimper and step aside. It will lay down at your feet. Do not ask the world for permission to be rich. The world will never give it to you. Take the permission, assume it. Dare to assume it. Neville said, reason is the enemy of the spiritual man. Reason wants to calculate. Reason wants to measure. Reason says, it takes 10 years to save that much. Brazen Impudence says, it is done now. Who will you listen to? The calculator or the creator? You are the creator. If you can hold this mood, if you can maintain this, I don't care what it looks like attitude, if you can persist in this assumption when every logic says you are a fool, then you will see the walls of Jericho fall. The obstacles will crumble. The money will appear from places you never knew existed. Be bold. Be brazen. Be the one who refuses to see anything but the glory of the wish fulfilled. So, here is the challenge of the $1 million secret. Are you brave enough to trust a simple handshake? Are you brave enough to ignore the complexity of the world and rely on the simplicity of the spirit? The world will tell you that you need a strategy. The world will tell you that you need hard work. The world will tell you that you need luck. But I tell you, you only need a friend and a handshake in the silence of your soul. Go into the silence now. Choose your witness. Feel their hand, accept their praise, and sleep in the deep, unshakable conviction that you have been congratulated by the world because you have conquered the world. The secret is out. The key is in your hand. Now use it. Open the door, walk through, and accept your good. It is done.